Shalom, family. I would like to say to so-called black people around this country that we need to stop marching and protesting and start boycotting. I'm seeing a lot of people come forward with this same narrative because it's time. Too often we will look at the injustices against us and we think that the first thing we should do is start marching. With that marching, have you noticed that there's a large element of begging as well? You cannot beg people that are oppressing you to stop oppressing you and to agree with you that your life matters, because they're doing what they're doing to you because they don't believe that your life matters. And so any amount of begging that you do is going to fall on deaf ears. I don't think I've ever really seen this marching and protesting the way that I see it now. It's, you know, it's always a thing of, you know what, we have a right to protest, we have a right to march, you know, and one of the favorite songs back in the day was "We Shall Overcome," you see. And now when I look at that, I see it as people who are in the dark, people who refuse to really face reality, because the reality is we've been singing and marching for decades, and the same people that we are doing this for, or as a result of how they've treated us, these same people look at us and they laugh and they make jokes about it, and you know, and it falls on deaf ears. That's the main thing, it falls on deaf ears. All of this hands up, don't shoot, and this Black Lives Matter. I understand the narrative of Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to pretend that I don't understand what that means, but you do have people who don't believe that Black Lives Matter coming up with all kinds of ignorant rhetoric to downplay why there is such a thing as Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter came as a result of people, especially white people, treating us as if our lives didn't matter. And the very fact that they came up with all lives matter shows that they refuse to hear or understand anything. We saw someone give a great demonstration of that. It was a multicultural group, one black guy, several white people, and it looked like an Arab or a Latino or something like that. And they gave a demonstration where they were at a restaurant and a waiter came and gave everyone their food and drink except for the black guy. And as he was sitting there, he said, "Okay, can I get my food? Where's my plate?" And then one of the other people at the table who was sitting there eating their food that had been brought to them, he said, "Well, what do you mean, where's your plate? All plates matter, you know?" He says, "Yes, I know all plates matter, but you have yours and I don't have mine." And so he says, even this cup that they gave me, I asked for a cup of ice. I asked for a cup of just ice. And he says, "What do you mean a cup of just ice? I mean, you got a cup. I mean, what are you complaining about?" He says, "But I asked for just ice. And I'm not getting just ice." You see, justice. And so the whole narrative was really interesting, and it boiled down to everyone at the table asking the black man, "What are you complaining for? Why do you keep complaining? What are you talking about? All plates matter." And he kept trying to say, "Hey, look, I don't have my plate though. That's the point I'm trying to make. You're telling me that all plates matter, but my plate matters and I don't have my plate." That's why Black Lives Matter came into play, because you have people who act as if black lives don't matter, you see. And then the one that I can't stand the most is when you have, as a matter of fact, someone that we know had mentioned that a Caucasian had put on their Facebook page, "Why do black people want to say that Black Lives Matter and promote Black Lives Matter when they're aborting their children?" And I said to myself, so you believe that every last black person has done that, first of all, and so basically just because you have some blacks that have done that, that is supposed to eliminate or just totally ignore those who haven't done that, and those who believe that you know, that black lives should be just as equal or just as important as other lives. You know, you can't say that every black person fall into the same category, because there are white women who have aborted their children as well. So should we say, I mean, should we just ignore all of those who have not, because you have some that have? When you have white people who think this way, as to say, what do you care about Black Lives Matter for? You all do this. Well, you all do it too. You see, we're dealing with such an ignorance in this world, and such a racism and a hatred in this world, that these people cannot see it. They refuse to receive it because they are reprobate. You see, they are truly reprobate. And so, for me, I think our people, Black people, need to get a clue. Why is it that we can't keep our dollars in our pocket? We are supporting and growing the businesses of people who can't stand us. Every time you look around, we're sitting up in their restaurants eating their food. We're saying, "Massa, please feed me." We can cook our own food, but we would rather go to a restaurant and have them serve us up. You see, we would rather go and put their branded clothes on our backs, put their shoes on our feet. You see, their branded shoes. Now, I understand that we don't have too many shoe manufacturers that are black and what have you. But what I'm saying is, when you go out of your way to spend extra for like Nike, you're spending hundreds of dollars for a pair of Nikes instead of getting a pair of shoes that will last a decently long time and spend a whole lot less. You see, you have Black people who wouldn't dare put on a pair of shoes that only cost $19.99 because they don't think that they are good enough. So they would rather put Nikes on, or other shoes that are breaking your bank, that are going into your bill money, that are making you poor, just so that you can say you got on some expensive shoes, while this white corporation somewhere is laughing all the way to the bank because of our ignorance. You want to wear clothes on your back that signify you're still a slave to this system. You know, like Jesse Williams said, they used to brand us with branding irons back in the day. Now we're branding ourselves. We say, look, they ain't branding our backs anymore, but I want to put Massa's name on my back by wearing Massa's clothes. We need to stop protesting and start boycotting. Stop all this marching and all this other stuff. Stop begging these people to acknowledge you as a human being. First of all, they don't see you as one. This is why they do the things that they do. They do not see us as human beings. This is why they could, I mean, there used to be a law, I forget the name of the law, and I may do a separate video on this another day, but there was a law where they actually said that if a white person felt like they were helping you by killing you, that they were obliged to do so without penalty, without punishment. Now, most of us don't even want to hear such a thing, but it's a fact. It's a fact of life. And now, even though they may not apply that law when someone is being murdered now, but what they are doing is they're allowing the same actions to go unpunished. Look at George Zimmerman. Stalked and killed Trayvon Martin. And this system said that he was innocent. You see, said that George Zimmerman was innocent. So we're dealing with a wicked bunch of people. And for all of my people who want to continue to say, well, you know, we're putting together a prayer and a fasting season for our people, there was a comment made that I'm not going to pray against my enemies. I'm going to pray for my enemies. I said to myself, that's the ignorance that keep us in the same position that we've been in for hundreds of years. Because we are so ignorant in our minds that we believe we're doing something great and grand. I mean, even though the scripture shows you that there are those who are at the throne crying day and night asking for revenge. And you have this person come say, well, I'm not going to pray against my enemies. I'm going to pray for them, like you're such a big person. Like you're so righteous and holy, like the Most High is smiling down on you because of your nobility and wanting to pray for your enemies instead of against them. Well, I tell you what, you keep doing that and the enemy is going to keep on pursuing you and pursuing you more and more. And one of these days you're going to realize and understand that that is one ignorant way of thinking, okay? We need to do what the Word allows us to do, which is pray against our enemies. Pray that the judgment of the Most High Yah, and the enemies I'm talking about these enemies that have been persecuting us for hundreds of years, and having no remorse for the things that they do to our people. Those are the enemies I'm referring to. You know, what I find amazing is that our people can readily write off a family member and cut them off and have nothing else to do with them and take it to their grave, and they're okay with that. But the minute you say something about praying against these devils that's persecuting us, all of a sudden your conscience kick in. Okay, I'm done with this video. Stop marching, stop protesting, and start boycotting.